We live in what might be the most specific time in all of human history, and that's a problem. So much of our life has become so singular in nature. Our work is constantly judged on hyper-specific metrics, while we're constantly reminded that we could be replaced by AI at any second. Our hobbies, usually non-existent. Maybe we have one if we're lucky. The daily grind becomes monotonous, as we end up experiencing this discomfort on repeat over and over day after day. And this becomes problematic because through narrowing the lens of our life, we end up realizing and feeling that we're missing out on the full gamut that life really has to offer. This can turn especially dangerous when we begin to associate our sense of self-worth with these hyper-specific aspects of our life that don't represent the entirety of who we are. This monotony really got to me a few weeks ago, and I had an itch that I just didn't really know how to scratch. I felt like I was a little bit stuck in this same specific cycle, and I knew I needed to expand my life outwards, but I didn't exactly know where to turn. So I did the natural thing, and I bought a guitar. Now, I've never really been a musical person. In fact, the last time that I tried to learn an instrument, I was 16 years old and I'd just gotten my wisdom teeth out, and I figured, well, I need something to do for a few weeks while I can't play sports or work out. And that musical experiment lasted exactly 1 week before I completely gave it up, and it just collected dust for the next few years. And yet, despite my previous lackadaisical attempt at music, something about playing an instrument, something about being creative, expanding my life outwards really called to me. It felt that it was a break from the grind that became my regular routine. Now, this process of buying my new guitar really got me thinking. How many of us feel like we're running on the same specific hamster wheel over and over again without any way of getting off? And I really think this is where the idea of the Renaissance man comes into play. During 14th through 16th century Europe, during the Renaissance period, there was this newfound appreciation for a person who could expand their life outwards, someone who could engage and master different areas of life, science, arts, humanities, you name it. You're not just a scientist, you're not just an artist, you're all of the above, and there was an appreciation and a push to pursue that. Famous historical figures like Galileo, the astronomer, or Leonardo da Vinci were considered quintessential Renaissance men because of their engagement and mastery in different areas of life. This was a radical idea that shifted the focus away from specificity and more towards being a generalist of life. Instead of just focusing on what do you do for work, now there's an appreciation for everything about you as a person. During the Renaissance, there was a great appreciation and respect placed on those who could really fully engage in different areas of life. And over time, we really seem to have lost some of this wisdom, and the consequences have become all too apparent. So many of us rely solely on our work for our sense of self and sense of accomplishment, and there's a huge issue with this. Judging ourselves by our productivity or metrics at work, or what we do for a living and how we earn money, many of these things are largely outside of our control. We don't always choose how our boss is going to respond to us. We don't always choose what the client is going to say. In fact, I have no idea how many views this YouTube video is going to get. And the issue really sets in when we start to focus on these hyper-specific metrics, these specific elements of who we believe we are, the self-identity we create just around singular elements of ourselves that neglects our full potential. And we don't always intellectually recognize it, but we viscerally can feel this when, you know what? I don't know, I'm just bored, I'm restless, something about my day-to-day just doesn't feel right. And history has a solution to this: becoming a modern Renaissance man. On a simple level, becoming the modern Renaissance man, engaging with more of our interests, is a great way to challenge boredom. But on a deeper level, it fundamentally changes who we are and how we see ourselves. Developing and engaging in our interests and achieving competency in different areas of our life changes who we are as a person. Diversifying what we do into a well-crafted life builds a well-rounded identity. By changing our external environment, by doing different things, we change our internal environment of how we see ourselves and how we perceive ourselves in the world. If you have a bad day at work, but your only metric of self-worth is how you performed at work, you might be feeling pretty bad about yourself. If you learn to disconnect that and you have other things that you recognize make you, well, then you're going to judge yourself on a broader variety of things. By diversifying what we do to create a well-crafted life, we create a well-crafted self-image. Our self-esteem grows and becomes more grounded because we expand its roots. Instead of going to work one day and your boss is upset with you for nothing that you actually did. And if you judge yourself on this hyper-specific metric, then you might be feeling bad about yourself. You might be nervous, you're going to lose your job. You might feel all these things, this uncomfortable experience. However, if you're able to engage in other areas of life and you're able to base your sense of self and self-worth, self-importance, your sense of confidence on other aspects of your life, and you realize you are multifaceted, well, suddenly that day at work doesn't feel quite as harsh. It might not remove the issues at hand, but it does make you more grounded as a person. This expansion into different interests and into different pieces of ourselves makes us the architect of our own self-view. We get to see ourselves as more than just What do you do for a living? What do you do for work? So practically speaking, becoming a Renaissance man in the modern day may not really look so much different than what our historical counterparts did. And if we had to sum up what being a Renaissance man looked like in the modern era, we could probably break it down into a few major categories: physical health, mental health, socialization, and creativity. Physical health practices build resilience internally and externally. This is fundamental for both physical and mental health, as going to the gym or playing sports or doing something physical hard that you need to push yourself to do is going to build up character traits both internally and externally on your body. The most important thing here is probably picking something that you enjoy. There's a time and a place for discipline and doing hard things, that you don't enjoy. But if you're looking to integrate this into your life and change your self-perception through your actions, then you should probably pick a physical health practice that you enjoy. Now, this goes hand in hand with mental health practices, which are really designed to keep your mind calm and quiet. Finding something that can help you really unwind, relax, and process what's going on is going to be imperative. This can look like journaling, this can look like meditation, this can look like taking walks in nature without your phone, something restorative that helps your mind just calm down and relax. Socialization is a crucial yet often forgotten piece of our modern life. We often forget that we're social creatures first and foremost. Healthy socialization is a crucial part of a healthy life. Socialization helps us to balance out what's going on. It can help to de-stress. Just to sit down and laugh and have a good conversation with friends can make the most stressful days seem more manageable. And then cultivating a creative pursuit. This might be one of the most underrated pieces of becoming a modern Renaissance man. Creativity is something that has gone out the window, but truth be told, with the innovation of AI, creativity might be the only leg we really have up. But never mind all that. Creative pursuits like painting, singing, drawing, art, anything like that has brought humanity together for a millennia, and it helps us to access the deepest pieces of ourselves. Neuroscience, psychology, and spirituality all seem to agree that engaging in some sort of creative practice is going to be fundamental for well-being. In today's day and age, we're met with the challenge of specificity. It often feels like we're reduced down to just a small version of ourselves that neglects the bigger picture of who we are. But through becoming a modern Renaissance man, we're able to expand this image and strive towards our full potential of who we can become. Thank you for watching. If you found this valuable, share it with a friend, hit the subscribe button, like the video, and remember to hit life on all cylinders.